Good morning, guys. Let's organize it a bit. It's pretty messy. Lights we don't need so far. I'm just gonna delete them. The VCAM 2. That's the scan. That's the plane. We don't need that either. The 3D scan. There it is. This is up until there. On that point, but this one is much longer. But there are some details here I want to catch. Let's turn off the wireframes. So you see how there's a dent in here. I would like to 3D to make a retopology on this, like it is entirely, and then I'll just drag it towards the back here to try and get that sample on the side to be even more authentic as it is actually from the 3D scan itself. That will be a bit tricky. This needs a bit of lifting there. That's the thing, guys. While making the car, I have accidentally removed a big portion of the rear of the car. So if I hide the body right now, you will see about what exactly do I have of the engine, which is, there it is, the previously made on the back, the suspension here, and these details, more or less. So we're not that far, like there's still a lot to go, certainly, but it's not like I have the entirety of the back, you know, to be remade from scratch. So okay, I so much hate when this happens. I would very much like to see, as I did yesterday, that notice one thing I never knew it was actually present. That is, if I select multiple objects like this, and just if I want to rename them all together, I'll just go here, rename, and let's say rear engine suspension, and they'll be all renamed like that. So if I just type that in here, there they are, and I can easily go around and group them and create separations and whatnot. Yeah, now that selected everything, we don't need everything. That's a nice thing on which I believe I should make a short tutorial on, really. I don't know why I've never seen that previously being done, and no one told me about it. Just yesterday I was watching some plugins on how to speed up the workflow in Maya, you know, and I came across that, and I was like, okay, that's what I've been missing. Anyway, so previously I have made all these like just blockouts of the engine, like I mentioned. the whole of the engine was not really necessary. The main task of the work was the main goal of the work was to visualize the car as close as possible, and with the accent being on that, I was solely focused on that. I wasn't really going much about anything else. So yep. So yesterday after the stream, I just went and flattened that to that point over there, and that will be mirrored on the other side. But before we do that, like fully, I'm gonna try and finish up this details on the side, like this. I have no idea though what it's in here and what I'll be placing there. From what I can see here on the reference, where's the suspension? Yep, that's the suspension, and right behind it. Okay, so we have, oh yeah, there it is. There it is. I'm actually on right on point. So we have this, but it's rather complicated than I initially thought it would be. A bit more complicated, but no big deal. So we have that blank on the top, and that goes to the bottom, and this is the point where, okay, so yeah, there are these, and okay, that's coming to here. Actually, this element, it's going higher, like that, and it's a bit different. Okay, it's gonna be quite interesting to get that. So first things first, let's get going and visualize that easier for us. So I'm not gonna need the back here because the whole back will be 3D scanned from scratch and reconnected with this element that we have here. So actually I don't need this at all. Yeah, there we have also the other part, so we don't need that at all. All we need is now, okay, what was that? Oh, the previous element there that helped me keep them in place. Okay, so what we have in here, it's this blank on top. You see, let me show you guys so I'm more precise. This is what we are working on right now, this in here, and yep, there is a like opening up as it approaches to the end of this block here. So, but that's not big, so I sense like there was like a tube going over here. Where's the 3D scan? Yep, you see that one over there. So that's from below, and there has to be some like kind of gadget there for connection, and then there is here going up, which is this, and reconnects with this structure. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and make sense of all this. How can we have this? And a lot of cables. In the end, always gonna look beautiful. Today, guys, I'm gonna stream up until 1 o'clock, I assume, from what I've planned. So we'll have around 4 hours to do some more meaningful work today, and hopefully finish up a whole section here. Now you see here we have a connection with this on the top, and these not necessarily need to go that low. So actually what it means is that they need to go like higher, much higher. Sometimes you really have to just you know, improvise. But first of all, what I need now, you see, in order to make that, I need to make these uniform. So if I select one, uniformly all would be selected here. So I need to restructure first these here. Now that's a step back, but if we are about to make it properly, how it should be made, that's what we must do. So we have here that one, literally straight up that point. This. Okay, so this part like that. You fella, you'll come here. While you can be removed entirely. This would fall right under there. We can remove that. Flip that for more control. And not necessary. Now this is whole element, that's whole element. Now let's try and make them proper like that. Okay, I pull that up, not necessarily. Again, how on earth did I? Wait a sec, what? What's happening? Okay, that was weird. Now more or less we have all of them lined up. Maybe we can... not really. I wouldn't like it. Like that. Now, since we have those more or less properly aligned, we can now grab these two. More like that. Something like that, really. Oh my, I'm wondering, should I really connect these, because it's gonna get a lot messier, a lot more messy. You see, now these rings here I have to connect with these on the top. Should I go about that, or should I? That's similar, but not. Okay, a bit more details. Yeah, there's that. Okay, they're like. That means this one actually. So you see, we have just found something, which means that this is not really curved, but it's rather like flat. But okay, that's our version. That's not gonna be that much detrimental, and from the look of it, it's no big deal. It's more or less spot on. Now, yeah, I'm not gonna connect those like I implied I would. It's gonna be just too much work, unnecessary work. So we have to be practical here. Yeah, so thickness to it, like that, not too big, and this is spread out. this is going. Like much lower, something like that, I guess, because these are above it. This is a lot of going back and forth. I'm constantly thinking on how to improve the process and speed up the process, but how to name these tubes, tails, and engine base. They should be something like this. Actually, they're resting on top of that. And this is like a whole separate metal block there, which is just like, okay, let's make these. So, okay, these are circled like that, and also they have this. Yeah, let's make them like these. So flatten a bit. Hi Lord Darren, thank you for the subscribe and welcome on the channel. Welcome on this excruciating journey in trying to make this vehicle. But we'll get there. Each day closer. Hi, Blue J. How to pronounce that? I have people who I see people that have hard time pronouncing my name, but Blue J Avis. I separated like in three names. First time on the chat. Hi there, and welcome. Hey, Bubo. Hi. From Barton Stream. Oh yeah, I remember you now. I remember you now. Welcome on the stream, man. Burton, such a lovely guy, such a lovely stream. Great features on the stream alone. I tried to implement that with the characters running on the screen, but I haven't still put it installed it. You know, I'm trying to focus just on the work, so trying to put everything aside. Yeah, the day has just begun, but I do hope it's gonna be a great day. Yesterday I had troubles with the car and some project-wise stuff that I'm doing on the side, which is why I have to organize my time a bit better. And it's no longer streaming 8 hours a day, but it will be more just like 3 hours, 4 hour stops. That's it. And after that, I have to, you know, give my time to the projects I'm doing. So anyway, yeah, what I've been saying is yesterday got around some problems with this model in context of I did not achieve as much as I hoped to, you know, had some other stuff, you know, to run in town, had to leave, and so on and so on. So yeah, that was that. But today I hope I'll get a bit more. So yeah, hope for a productive day. That will be X, I believe. Yep, it is. So that's good. And now these are like screws, you see over there. They're not like combined elements. So what I'll do for just a bit to give on like on detail, I'll just try to detach these, separate, continue that downwards, this a bit. It will increase a bit of geometry, but I don't care that much. It will be a visualization. So now it's a bit better, right? And I can pretty much increase that geometry over there. And the way I'm gonna do that is I'll just not mindful much about it. I'm just gonna separate these. I'm gonna smooth it, make it smoother like that, increase the geometry, combine them, merge one of these, bridge actually, and I'll just bridge the rest and quickly get the geometry like that. But I'll have something that's much more smoother, you know. Now I'll just, I hear that you can guys, your guys writing, but just give me a second. I want to finish this and I'll read all of you. So just a moment. That so to make this beveling now, and there you are. I think it's much more realistic like that than this if we compare the two, right? So that's that. Maybe just clean it up a bit here. What do you think? Hey Blaster, welcome on the stream. Yeah, the Gamba Gamba. Gamba Gamba. It's a nice thing. I mean, not necessarily for everyone, you know, but I found it funny. And I won 3 times out of 3 times I've played it, and I didn't do anything like. I have no idea how that works. But yeah. Hi Blaster, what's up, man? Nice to have you here, honestly, you know, keeping me company. Working on these things, it's what I need. Now, these on the top have that, like, almost beveled thing, which is like that. And yeah, surely we can increase the geometry even on that. I like, you know, these details to be really mechanical, to be, you know, seen as such. So I'll just have more geometry, more edges on the sides, so to have that effect. But everything else, I think it's not really needed. Like that, it's looking perfect, if you ask me. And then there is like a small pin on the bottom, like what that is. So I'm just gonna try and do that as well. Like, it's not much, but detail like those will matter, will definitely matter. So how to approach that is just I'll take a copy out of this. Where is it? Why? Okay, duplicate on the bottom like that. F8, extrude. That's it. People say Maya is slower than other softwares, but I don't agree. I'm flying in it, and that's probably what's giving me hard time to, you know, like try and switch to something else and learn other softwares with modeling, because it would be like really learning to how to walk, and it's, for me, it's pretty hard to grasp that fact that, you know, that's what has to happen if you're to learn other softwares, which is why I don't have problems learning, like, you know, for visualization, this and that, Unreal Engine, Substance Painter, blah blah blah. But, you know, to try and walk again, to learn how to walk again when it comes to modeling, I don't know. My pleasure to see this handsome guy always. Told you, Blaster, several times, like, if that's the only compliment, then I need to work harder on my 3D art. But I don't mind it, really. It's always nice to hear that. Blue Jay, I'm very happy that you have decided to came by, you know, to stop by. How time goes, more and more, the more I watch, I mean, Twitch, people streaming on Twitch, it's more that I understand there's like a whole community that's solely thriving on Twitch, and they all pretty much know each other virtually, or probably someone even more, you know, but you get my point. So I'm glad that I can touch on that in a way. I have, I mean, seen now quite a lot of them, like obviously Nimlots, Oleg's, Barton 3D, and there are other couple of guys that also, you know, do this stuff, and they're pretty, you know, good. So I don't like this at the end, so what I'll do is just I'll delete it like that. They massacred my boy. That's what I'm doing right now. Where is that piece? Wait a sec. Okay, there it is. Now we need a proper circle. Now that part, it's bit extruded. It's not like straight out a circle out of the like the edge or there, but it's more like this. So it has this element first, and then it's a proper circle like that. So I'd like to have that instead. Now this is a very small piece in terms of, you know, everything that we do, the whole model here, but let's make it right. And while at it, I mean, I beveled it already and that was not right. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna, yeah, actually, why I'm doing that, but I can always do this, like do it fairly much more simpler. Now these need to go up that point. We can always manage that. The depth, it's not very important, as I already went randomly. I do not know how you know, long they are, so no big deal. Now this a bit more, we can even go, I say, a bit more. We need bevel on that because there is, like, you see that over there, it's more pronounced, so I'll have that. And just like that. Actually, this is not making any difference whatsoever, so maybe I'll just delete them. Yeah, but it's looking much better than how it was, that's for sure. Now we have this in the middle. There is like a hole over there. I'm not gonna do that, but what I'll just do is I'll try to later on when texturing, I'll just add some normal map in there, and that will be it. But come on. Actually, yeah, that's too much in here. We don't need that. So how do I? We just save ourselves a few edges there. Now this is a bit smaller here, not that wide, so probably half of that, something like it. Let's find the middle. Middle, so is this. There you go. So that's that. Now in here we're gonna place a circle. You already doing, and you already did, and you always do. Uh, Thank you. Yeah, I like chill streams like yours and Burton's. I'm very glad to hear that. It means a lot. Um, I always had insecurities on how would I sound, whether the English will be sufficient enough, whether people would understand me or not, and those kind of uh, overthinking stuff. But yeah, I need more emotes after Twitch removed pod friend, but I have no money. What is pod friend, and what do you mean by I need more emotes? Am I lacking emotes or something like that? Because guys, I don't give much thought on that. I never had like something specially made for Twitch. I just tried once and I don't think they were working or anything. My point is, if there is something that you think would be interesting to be added, let me know. Diamond News, I don't know if you watch, but you can see right now how this is selected on the back. I have selected this on the back, but actually I didn't. It's just that as a result of the tablet. Me and Diamondus, we know each other in real life. We are living like not more than 1 kilometers apart, and he's the guy that gave me this tablet. He is working something else right now. He's not needing it, and I have another one which is smaller, so I'm using it only for the laptop, but for the PC work. Because I have ultra wide monitors and I needed bigger one, so he spared me his because he didn't need it obviously. So we had a discussion on how the tablet is going, whether all is fine, and that's something I've been telling him this morning, that occasionally I would select something that I'm not trying to select. For example, I'll try to select this edge here and it will select something back over there, and all together with this, like, it doesn't make sense. So I go back and I see that somehow suddenly not only this but something in the background has moved, and it gave me troubles a bit, but no big deal. This is looking nice, so I'll have it like this. I'll smooth it out and I'll just remove the unnecessary geometry on it, like these. That's looking nice now. Oh, okay, so that makes sense, like they are entering. Okay, and that's that, but this is rather different here. We have like cut. Okay, at least I'll make the same too, like same mechanisms on how they connect there, but their shape overall on both ends will be entirely different. So that's interesting, will give us some interesting differentiation there. It's already looking nice. Maybe I'm using, guys, way too much edges here on this piece, but it is what it is. Let me see how they stand overall. They're not actually, they're about there. It's no big deal. And there are cables all around. Once I finish with the engine, and when I'll need to make the cables, I'm gonna get one plugin that's paid, I believe, around $30. I'll get that one, and the cables will be made with that alone in a separate Twitch session. streaming session, because I'm not twitching only on Twitch, so that had to be said. Now I can delete this altogether. So okay, I gotta finish this piece here. Now I have two ways on doing that. I can either try and actually, why not? I mean, otherwise it's gonna open too much work for something that's probably not gonna be that important. Let me see. Yeah. Now I'm thinking, guys, whether to connect these two. You see here how they are. They're seamless, right? So I'm thinking, should I connect that or just leave it be as it is by blocking out some elements like this? Okay, Dushko, let's not think it too much. Just move on. I can always come back later, right? So. This, by rule of thumb, needs to be higher because it's certainly on top of that. So let's see where the scan is. Yep, look at that tube here, how high it is. Sure, I've been right. Look at that, how high the tube is. Actually, it's even higher, much higher. And there are the elements. There it is. Yep. Look at that. So actually this piece needs to be, guys, roughly around here. And the tube, by the way, it's much bigger. Okay. So yeah, just like that. Just like that. That's pretty much enough. Now we can play with the tube in any way we like. From the 3D scan, it's certainly much bigger, and there are like dents in here. You see, it's a different level, but I don't see that on the image here. So it's, you know, it's creating basically a conflict. Like, should I just follow the scan or should I just follow the reference? But neither of those I can really follow to the detail, because on the references I can see just as much, you know, I can see from the image. On the 3D scan I can see details that I cannot see on the reference. So I'm always trying to, you know, go in between to try and do, you know, what makes most sense. So for detail, I would say it's gonna be good to have that, like, you know, like this maybe, you know. Now let's see where that leaves us with the original. Actually, there it is. I mean, there is the plate. You can see even how it looks, and that's where it ends. So instead of doing retopology straight on the 3D scan, which will be really tricky at this point here, because of how much of points are missing, and also how much 3D data I've already retopologized. So I just rather, just try and do this instead. It's just enough. So and let's cut it on half, so I have more control on only one side. We can extrude, not extrude, but bevel these out a bit to add smoothness to it. Edge flow. Yeah, I knew always that would happen, because I don't know, that's the tendency of geometry work. When you do edge flow in these sections here, they always tend to go outside rather than inside. So this, I'll make it much smaller and just like that, smooth. All these will just drive there. That too. For the sake of details, once I come on this part here, I'll have that like extruded, embedded and all that into the geometry. It's gonna look nice. This is I figure not much, but slightly, I wanted to say, which is exactly the opposite what I'm saying. It's slightly thicker like that. No. You see, now it's selected. It has selected the scan behind, and I haven't. It just went automatically switched, which is why, I mean, I need it. So yeah, okay, let's hide it for now. But it's looking good. It's looking good. Let's bevel these. Just one, I think it's enough. Yep. That should do the work. It's already looking much better. Now, this is seemingly like too high for how it appears here. Now, the plate is flat on which it rests. It's flat. So, if it's flat, and this is that close to that plate, that means only one thing, which is this should be rather lower like that probably. But on the 3D scan it's not like that, and also the plate, it's not that high. Actually, the plate I just made according to how the plate is on the 3D scan. So okay, I see what it is. Okay, so look how big these screws here are, and look at mine. So we have just a lot smaller object here. That's what needs to be scaled up properly, and we'll be pretty much in the same ballpark. So okay, let's combine that. So it's scaled up uniformly like that. I think now we are much closer to... Okay, where's the scan? Let's hide it now. Yep, that works now. That works now. And I'll just drag it a bit to the left, a bit more. This too. Oops, there's unnecessary geometry there. Not that, but yep, there it is. We have that. Not again. That's when you rush and you click lot more buttons than what you're supposed to. Okay, that's that. I'll definitely just have it on the other side. There's no point in connecting these here. I already went far more in details on this block here than yeah, anyone did, because I've seen cars of Group C on sim racing. And of course, I mean, for gaming it's just one thing, for visualization it's another. For visualization there might be a model, I'm sure of it actually. There are a lot of great models in the world. This is certainly not the only one. For 3D printing and, you know, things like that, like those. So I'm sure there are great models, but yeah, I'm also sure they're very much expensive. So anyway, what I meant to say is really no need to do that. This is pretty decent. Now what I can do is try and reconnect this with this part. So, or just try and do this with this one. And this is interesting now that I bothered so much on how will I connect these, and look what's happening. This is from the 3D scan, this is from the 3D scan as well. So they're like overlapping to a point, and it's not that they're overlapping, but they should be welded together. That's what makes sense. So look at this. Much of what I've, okay, that's not a big deal. I can just cut it like here, hold this portion, and then just combine it with this, which is actually making sense. Like, look at that. There is like half a circle, and then we have this here. So I'm pretty sure that the 3D scan has not been made well. Obviously, I mean, you've seen the 3D scan, it's like all destroyed on all sides. They're just like trails here and there, and you go and make sense of what works, what's not. So I think because this on top was very nicely preserved and this on the bottom wasn't, I'm gonna delete this here. And I'm gonna delete this here because on this part it wasn't preserved. And then I'll just connect these two. And once I have those two connected, I'll have the whole block here cleaned up, welded together, like a whole section. I think it will be just right. What do you think, guys? Do you agree? Okay, let me pay attention a bit more to the comments. Not that there were many, but Blue Jay has said, is this meant to be 100% accurate? Would you verify through a simulation engine or something? Just curious. No. Far from that. This is not an engineering project. It's not something that in real life would work. It's just an artistic stuff that I'd like to create as complex as possible vehicle with details as much as I can do, just really to have someone being impressed by looking at my portfolio, which is why the title says portfolio work. It's meant for visualizations mainly. It would be that's what I'm trying to score with this. But yeah, far from anything like serious engineering stuff, because I'm not an engineer. I haven't studied mechanics. So doing 3D like this, I'm not sure anyone can. It's not the right software. But yeah, I would really like to do that, but unfortunately, instead of going to mechanical university for engineering and all that, I went for marketing and management. Which is why I'm doing Twitch now. Trying to promote myself, in a way. But you do all. Thank you, Blaster, if you do think that, but certainly I'm not, man. I mean, there are lots of people in the world who do much more. Obviously, that it doesn't need to be even said, but my point is, I haven't even remotely touched on doing everything, because there are people who can do modeling and then animating and creating amazing cinematics. I cannot I don't know how to rig a car. I very much like to learn it, but for now I don't know how. So that's something I'd like to learn. Cinematics, I have fair share of videos that I've edited, and now it might sound arrogant, but I know I can be good at it. But when it comes to 3D modeling and CGI cinematics, I've never done anything more complex than a static camera going around models, because again, I don't know how to animate much. I've done simple things, but it's not like I can make the car bounce and with that goes to what I meant by that bounce. It's not only the car suspension going up and down, that's simple, but everything to react to each other. For example, if you do like press the car down, the suspension would try to reposition itself and all that. Like for example, Biba Man does. Biba Man is working on a great robot he's doing, and he has made very nice animation. He's doing very nice animation. He's working on it daily, I believe. It's his project, very nice project that he's working on, and I'm very much in awe of those things. So definitely, I'm not doing everything, but I'll definitely try. I want to learn it. So yeah. Yeah, and also he's working a very long time on that robot. Like, even before I went streaming, which was January last year, he was already working on that robot. And I always joke with him, like, probably too much unnecessary time has been spent on it because he made the robot like maybe already, and he went back and changed it. But I mean, that's art, and that's all fine. If I mean, he's the artist, obviously, behind that, and if he believes that it's not good enough, it's not good enough. So, all hats off to him for doing that. But really, I mean, why I say this, why I'm saying what I'm saying is because I believe he's already done a very great job, that he can just publish it as it is. Obviously, it's not yet animated fully, as he said he would like to have it, and there's work to be done there for sure. But the 3D modeling wise, probably it remains only to be textured. But details wise, he's done a great job. I don't know if he's here to hear it anyway. But if he's here, Biba, yeah, that's a great work, man. Now, you see, I've been thinking too much on these models and how they would appear, but look at this. Now, out of nowhere, like, they suddenly, the model suddenly makes sense. You see how everything comes together? Like, look at this. It's so perfect, and it's like complementary to the blocks beneath. Like, everything is how it should be. But I'll tell you, I've been wasting like probably a whole day on how to make this work. But I haven't realized that by making this part, suddenly I will know how to make this part. So that's, if an artist can see that up front, or be minded about it, that's what makes the difference. It's not the software. So that's why, guys, I always think of myself that I always have to prove myself, every single day, because every single day you learn something new. It's not that if you know how to make a car, or I don't know, a robot or a character, that you will know how to make each and every one of them, because each and every one of them might have a single different detail, and surely they all do. So from the majority of the parts, what I'm trying to say, you have to implement something new, some different approach, and that's why I also love 3D, because it's like a small adventure. I don't know, that's how I see it. You go, you don't really know where you're going. I mean, you can see clearly, you have an idea, but you don't see clearly where this model is going in terms of, you know, the proper shape, and suddenly it reveals in front of you, like, there you go. Connect this with that and you have it. But I'll tell you guys, yesterday was a very nice day. YouTube wise, the video I posted of the Porsche, it's I mean, for my own small YouTube channel, it's hitting big numbers, like hundreds of views within one day. For me, it's very huge. On a video, I usually don't have more than 20, so 100, it's quite a lot, and there has been fair share of great comments on it. So I am thankful to each and everyone for that support. It really, it does means a lot. So thank you. I yeah, I you know, do that as well, but the thing is, with shorts, they don't transfer much of subscribers, of viewers into subscribers, and the viewers from the views from the shorts are not also really meaningful when it comes to monetization. Uh, there is a how to say this? There is a like category by which they can be counted towards monetization. Like, you have to have, like, I don't know, this million numbers of viewerships on shorts alone and whatnot. But people who watch shorts, what I want to say, it is said that are not the true audience of a YouTube channel. So for me, it's much more meaningful to have 5 people, but who would be genuinely interested in what I do, than have 50 people who would be just scrolling, you know, like wouldn't care what I really do. So yeah, that's why so far I haven't posted it as a short, although I have just snippets of my workflow here from really the monitors and all that. But that was all about it. And maybe I should really post it, you know, maybe today, as I have already on Instagram, and it's sponsored also, like, to try and hit more people. Now I want to have this like a bit more structured here to make more sense. Yeah, one thing I did not didn't ask for anything really. They just came back with compliments on the work, and it was great to read that. Did the stream fall for a second, guys? Is it back? Blue Jay, that's the thing, man. I don't like really to, you know, like push for that. Like, you know, to push people to to ask of them that. I just want it to be natural, but maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. Uh, yeah, Blue Jay. So in any case, man, it's okay. I mean, no big deal, you know. Guys, did the stream fail for a second? Okay, I haven't saved, so let's do that before it's too late. Okay, that's something else. Set project. Let's take the mouse because it's much more convenient. Okay. I very much love how this comes along. Now, I would like to have some proper mechanical here line, like straight line, you know, to kind of keep the order in that sense. So that would be like too much. Now it's with this block here, with all of this, like all this needs to be flat, or at least in one line. But the last time I tried to do that, it was a bit tricky, so I just couldn't make it. And that's where I believe now a curve would be very suitable. So I'll just try that now. So let's take a curve, there it is, and let's go I'm not sure if it will work, but just to see if anything will be an improvement. So actually, what did I just do? Guys, you can do this instead. Like, really, there was no need for me to I'll take that as well there. So just go what's this? Convert polygon edge to, yeah, there it is. So there it is, the whole line there, except it's not really straight, you know, so probably you'll have to modify it a bit, but it's much easier than, you know, moving polygons. And just straighten up a bit like that. Simplify it. Yeah, much better, right? So it's almost perfect. And let's see how, yeah, we see how off it is at places. Anyway, so what do we need now? Also, it's this line here, or actually that one. So that one like that. If I try to do that, it will be just maybe, yeah, that's still off. Where did it went? No, come back. No, you bloody bastard. Okay, I lost it. Okay. So yeah, that's much more likely. Look at that. It's pretty much straight on. So now we need both of them. Upper, lower. Not that I had to name them. We're not gonna save them. They will be deleted in a moment. So we just do loft and now convert them to polygons. Now this in here can be deleted. This can be flipped. This can be taken. And everything in between we can just delete like that. And now we can just go and make the most of what we have here and try and clean it up a bit or simplify it. Like first I'll try with every, you know, over one, and I'll delete it. Then I'll try, I mean, there's way too much geometry here as it is, so we don't need that, definitely. So I'm just gonna cut the majority. I like these smooth lines there. I'd like these smooth lines here, so I'll keep those. It's gonna be a bit tricky here at this section, so you know I cannot see much and it doesn't make much sense. So let's see what we can actually remove here so we can save ourselves any troubles. Breach. No. Okay. Yeah, that's missing something there. A link, but we'll get it around. Now we can just try and so these need to be reconnected with this. Everything else that's here, surplus, can be removed. That certainly. Actually, what I should have done is just try to clean it up like this a bit to create like a path so I can see. It's pretty. It's pretty detailed. Okay, actually, to save myself a time, so I have the borders that are top, south and north. Let's name them like that, in a way. So what I need is actually only those, and I'll try to create like a gap here, like a safe zone, which will be this, and then based on that, I'll just create the bridge in between, which will be fairly simple to do. So we don't need to go like one by one and cleaning all that up. So just like that. Now we have that over there. Let's remove what's not necessary here. So let's start with that. That's right on point, but anyway. We need the flow here all the way to the other side. Here we don't have it, so we make sure we have it now. Hey Willem, good morning mate. Yeah, making a lot of progress actually. Look at this, look at this, I'm so happy about it. Like now I deleted it, but I've been talking about it in the beginning of the stream. When I've been working on this element here, I'm just gonna select it so you can understand better. Like working on this piece here, it was like a separate one on the 3D scan. I couldn't really make sense of what was going around here in this area. I didn't have anything, and I'm making this. I flipped it on the other side by making these here on the top, flipping this on the other side to see how it would look, and sure enough, these two here, this with that portion there, like there was an element here. It overlapped, but it overlapped in such a way that it almost made sense that there has to be welded as one piece. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to just create a more seamless integration in here, where this section, this portion of the engine, will have not so broken normals, but it will be more seamless, and the normals will be looking nice, as you see here. So there, there's no, too much flickerings on that part, and everything is more smooth and aligned with how it should be. And look at this, like it's almost perfect coming together. So this will be continued here. This piece on the right, like this is separated. So it's coming together with the left side, which is this one. And then, that will be flipped on the other side, and we'll be continuing towards the back here. So the time it's 10:47. That means I hope that by the end of the stream I'll start working on the details here on what we have of the 3D scan. We have this here, more or less. So I'll be working on that and slowly working towards the center of the car and combine that whole unit in the middle, which will be like the main engine on the bottom. It's gonna look nice. It's definitely gonna look nice. So yeah, unlike yesterday, today it will be a more productive day, definitely. Much will be done. This was a pretty major piece of the model of the engine. So with that being made and leaving it behind, definitely much closer to completion of the whole engine. And after that, UV mapping will come along, and that's another part of the process that at least myself, I realize where I've been wrong or what I can improve, and surely I might go back and redo some stuff, but that's just how it goes. And when I have that on mind, I pretty much established like a timeline on when this might be finished. So there is still long way to go, is what I'm trying to say. There is still a long way to be, for this to be made, but knowing that and thinking on just how long it would take, right now I'm much closer than I was like 5 days ago. So Do you sometimes ask Do you sometimes ask your client for additional reference photos for when the scan isn't enough? Uh, yep. For example, I'm working on gym equipments. I don't know if you've seen the video, so let me just go briefly and show it. I'll show it on the channel while streaming. So this is something else I'm working for a client, which I'll be working after I finish with this modeling today. So, for example, on that work, I often miss references, and I need to be constantly given new ones and so on. So yes, I do, but uh, for this for this specific work, not really, because when I was working on the Porsche previously, all they cared was that the car outside was visually authentic as the the car the client had, which was. Let me try and find some photos now of that one. So where was it? Uh, yeah, look at that now. So these are all the references I have of the vehicle previously on which I've been working on. So I don't know which one. Let's yeah, let's take it on the side. So you see, there has been this damage on the vehicle that the client had. The client's vehicle had. The vehicle's clients had. Yeah, I think I said that correctly anyway. So, for example, also this is what's been done. You see, I tried to make it match perfectly with how it is. This is 3D model, obviously. We tried to match it detail for detail, like every scratch and all that to be present. All that's been done with Substance Painter. These have been painted with Illustrator to get the most out of these scratches. I've been basically taking this what you see here. I've been taking this image to try and make it graphically to be possible for me graphically to represent it on the 3D model. So had to stretch that out, make it as close as possible to how a straight image would look. Compare that with the logo itself from the internet that I found. Got these here that have been placed and whatsoever, trying to make it detail by detail. So I mean, I pretty much went and started talking about other stuff, but speaking of references alone and asking clients to send more if the work I have to do it cannot be done with the references that I have at hand, certainly yes. So but for this vehicle alone, not really. They already gave me quite a lot of them, so be right back, guys. Just have to pick up a phone. Yeah, people selling things on phones. I don't need that. I mean, who else would have been calling me, right? Like, they're all either writing on Instagram or like that. I mean, on phone, very rarely anyone calls. So especially with people who live abroad that uh, I know personally. I have two friends living in Sweden. My best man is living in Sweden. Three other friends I know, they're living in I would have said Amsterdam again. One is living in Amsterdam. The other one it's in Hague. So they're living in obviously in Netherlands. So yeah, I mean, and not only those, but many more people that I know are abroad. So, and those who are still here, we don't talk much. So it's not like back in the days when you would just, you know, the only way to contact someone would be through, you know, the phone. I miss those days, by the way. Just yesterday I'm coming home and I've been thinking about the fact that on my street, like literally no one is coming out any longer. It's not going out any longer. They're all at home, like I am, but I'm 36. I'm working this for, you know, this is my job, and not streaming but 3D, you know, and right now I'm in a position where I have to do a bit more to get some traction. Anyway, I want to say I have to spend some time, you know, to invest in what I'm doing right now. It's all I'm saying. But when I was a kid, I mean, you couldn't get us to go home. And today, like, it's entirely different. Maybe it's again entirely different in other countries, but certainly here it's like that. So whenever someone rings me and I don't have his phone, it's not anyone else but some organization trying to sell you something. I hate that. I heard something about lower income people not going out much because it's too expensive. That's only normal, I would say, but definitely, I mean, I have people who I know they wouldn't like to go out solely because, I mean, beer today in our country, it's like, how much? €3. But if you put that in the standards of European Union country, it's not much. But I'll tell you, beer in our country was much as €1 tops, like 5-6 years ago. But then again, everything hit off in the world, the war in Ukraine, you know, inflation, whatnot, COVID hit previously. I mean, many things changed since then. Like, many things that were really normal prices today are more or less like the price I would get if I go in Rome, for example. And it doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm speaking now only, guys, about my own country and where I live in, because that's all I know. I mean, I've traveling around the world a bit, but not anything, you know, extensively too much to live somewhere for a certain period of time to know how it would be, right? But my point is, I've seen the prices, right? So we're not a European country where I live in, so we cannot have those prices, but still the people here have those prices set for certain products, and it's just hilarious. So people do not live really out for not paying those prices, because there's no need for it, right? Really. I'm sure no one of you has visited Macedonia, so Many have stereotypes about this bad place or that, and I don't know what else, but it's really not like that. It's a very beautiful place, and it's very cheap when it comes to food, and it has really good food. With whomever I spoke that visited our country, they always say like it's one of the best places in the world where they had the best food probably, and the food was very cheap. I'll tell you, like for how much? I mean, €2 you could just have a whole meal, and a beautiful meal like steak or I don't know what with salad and whatnot. 2-3 euros, that was the price. Today it's €10, and that's a price, the same price I would pay if I sit in a restaurant somewhere in Firenze, in Madrid, I would say, or something like that. Certainly not America. I know in America it's a bit more expensive, and also in London, but in UK. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that we have picked up with prices as well, although our economy is not that strong enough, and I have no idea how they really came up with those prices, but it's really hilarious, at least here. So I remember as a kid, I mean, now that's entirely different time, even pre-COVID and all that. Things have been moving slowly, towards, things getting more expensive, but it was slowly, it was a transition, like, it lasted for years. With what happened after COVID and the wars and all that, which I don't want to go into, everything changed overnight, and the change was very sudden. No one was prepared for it, at least here. But previously, while I was growing up, oh geez, I mean, you could go out in town with as much as 5 euros in pocket and still have enough. One beer was 50 cents, something like that. But now it's just crazy. It's entirely different thing. It's entirely different thing, and it pains me, really, but it is what it is. Okay, let me focus a bit on this. Enough of, I'd say, politics or whatever they are. World economy politics. Oh, look at that. Oh, okay, now it's working. Willem, I don't know if you're here, but if you are, yesterday the Kramer Racing team on Instagram have sent their compliments on the work. I tagged them on my Instagram story when I published the work from my end, filming the monitors, and they wrote to it just great work and exclaim mark. I mean, the official team of Kramer Racing, great stuff. And when this will be finished, it will be even better. Okay, let's have that flat like that, and this now like that, uniformed. It's looking nice. It's looking very nice, guys, I'll tell you that. It's very slow, it's not how someone would like it, it's vertex by vertex, but it pays off, I would say. It's detailed. Hey Veer, say you live. Thought I'd say hi, but was exercising, so gonna lurk and maybe chat you later if you're still live after I'm done. Don't worry, man. It's great that you exercise. Keep going. Whatever you're doing. I'm gonna go exercising a bit later tonight. 9 till 1 p.m. today. I'll be streaming. That's 2 or 3, more or less 2 hours more. After that, I'll be working for around 7-8 hours, I hope, on the projects I have to work on. And later, yeah, I'll be going for some run to get moving a bit. For all these long hours sitting in front of PC, it's not well. And I plan on going skiing on Saturday or Sunday. So yeah. I mean, I gotta get my body in shape, to... You can't just drop on skis and, hold on for dear life. Is it just me or Twitch added a Roblox button in the top left? I cannot see anything. Maybe thank you, Veer. Thank you, and have a very productive exercising. I cannot see it, but I'll log in on Twitch in a moment just to see what's going on, if there is a thing. Curious myself. I'm not linked with Roblox in any way, so it's not from me, I'll say that. Whoever is watching, know that. Ha ha ha. Yesterday on another Twitch that I was watching, the guy that streamed, he did not had any music, and he was just talking. So they were discussing about whether streaming should be done with music or without music, and one guy comes up and says, glad you have music, otherwise I would have thought you were a psychopath. Not for me, for someone else. And I was thinking, is it that how really people see those who stream without music? And I'm like, what? Hi, love. That's my wife, guys, by the way, coming always for support. Isn't she lovely? She's at work, by the way, and thought to stop by, and she's watching. Thank you, love, thank you. Well, I guess they follow where the money is. I hope I won't get banned for that. What a sad. Okay, we have that. Now let's just connect these here, which are not really straight. I've been a bit silent, guys. Focusing on this. Feel free to ask any questions. I welcome them. No need to say sorry if you're silent, man. Don't worry. I mean, I don't like to. I mean, I'm not. I won't. You know, I don't push anyone to talk. So don't worry on in that regard. I just say that if anyone is willing to ask something, anything about the process I'm doing, you're more than welcome. I welcome discussion. Quite frankly, we can discuss about pretty much anything, except politics and wars and things like that. With those topics, I'm not very much familiar, so. Save geometry as much as you can. Completely fine to do that. And this. And this. And this too, I believe. Indeed. So just like that. Cut it short. The more we can cut, the better. All of this will be a seamless metal piece that's gonna be at the bottom of the car, like over there. Like all those details I'm doing there, guys, and look, I mean, they probably won't be even seen, right? But they will be actually seen as the modeling, the presentation of the vehicle I planned it for, to have all these details, you know, spread out, and with the help of the VR to be able to present that in twin motion. So I hope to walk around all that to have them really like you're standing in front of an artistic piece in a museum. Talk about random stuff and usually distract Burton from getting work done. LOL. Yeah, that can happen, and it happens often when people ask something and you want to discuss that. I get a bit lost on what I was doing, and I need to try and refocus on where I was and things like that, but it's all fine. You see, yesterday, or I don't know which day, and I don't know who was, asked me if it's okay to have trees, like triangles in the geometry. It is perfectly okay, depends where they are. For example, it's very important that you have working sections like these to be flow with flow, so you can select easily pieces and deselect them, to cut it out and create bevels or whatnot. But otherwise it's pretty much okay, it's no big deal. So yeah, the third curves here, let's remove them, we don't need them now. Okay, we have this and we have that, and with that how was the reel? We're closing. With that, we say goodbye to this model, this piece here, which is gonna be like that, because I have no idea what else there would be more suitable to be done for it. So I'll just have it like that, and I'll try to make sense of what we need to work here. Obviously these can be closed like that, this with it, and this all together. It's all coming nice, guys, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay, I need a bit of structure there, like uniformity. That's not right. That's not right here, I meant. I cannot help but feel like there is too much geometry here wasted on the bottom, and that it's not supposed to be probably like that, but because I have no idea how to connect this now, and probably I wouldn't even, because yeah, look at that, it's completely off. And let's say just it needs to be like that. Do you think the need to monetize things you enjoy? Wait a sec. So, do you think the need to monetize things you enjoy take away from the enjoyment? I personally made a game and enjoyed working on it when I didn't make any money. Then, when it started generating sales, I started thinking it wasn't enough per hour spent on the project, then got burnt out. It's interesting thing. It's interesting, perspective to have, and things to have in mind, because yeah, I mean, what I work towards, I work hoping that it will be of course profitable at some point. I'm working for clients, I'm selling my services for projects like these. So I don't know from where to start talking on this, because I did work on a position where I've been working on vehicles, and I've been thinking that's like the dream job for me, but soon enough, when that job stopped paying as it should be paying, I lost the enjoyment of it, because it's not as much as that I lost enjoying what I did, because I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still developing vehicles, and I love that. That's my passion. But I had probably an issue with the people for whom I worked, because they did not respect it. They did not respect what I myself and the other 3D artists in the studio did. But I need to be careful on what I'm saying also, so I won't really go in those details. But what I'm trying to say is that really, I mean, it doesn't need to be like that. Why you are feeling burnout only because you feel you should be paid more? I don't know. what I do know is that also working on projects that are paid hourly, it gives me confidence, and it gives me like a safe net that I know that whatever I'm working on is going to be compensated. Whereas if I'm working on fixed hourly, not fixed hourly rate, but fixed project rate, they tend to ask many changes on the models, and they would expect that everything falls in the same price. And sometimes when those changes, take some time, I start to dislike what I'm doing. Obviously, although I like 3D, although I enjoy doing it, and so on and so on, I don't like that I need to invest any time in it any longer, and I more or less despise what I'm doing at the moment. So it's definitely tricky, that perspective on how we make ourselves to do something, not to do something. I do this now knowing that it's for free, basically. I mean, not for free, but I'm trying to improve on my portfolio. I'm working to improve my portfolio, so to one day probably get much higher salary in a studio, only because I've made what I'm working on right now, and that's how it is. So if tomorrow, someone says that he wants to buy this vehicle for a certain amount of money, I wouldn't be still thinking that I should have taken out more, or things like that, it was a waste and so on. No, I'd be still happy that I've done this, that it's mine, it's on my portfolio, like this is what I've done, and this is what I can show to anyone who is concerned about 3D. You wanna collaborate, okay, so this is what I do, this is how I've done things, and this is how much it costs. So if they like it, great. If they don't, fine still. I mean, I don't have any quarrels with that. I mean, the 434 Legend that I've done for like 3 months, and in hourly price, for me, I would have charged like, probably $5,000, $6,000, and usually I do. I did it for free, basically. I mean, certainly that project began being developed for a client, but the client's work took only like 80 hours, something like that, and it paid well and all that, but I moved on and tried to develop that for my own personal needs, for my own personal portfolio, so to be able to showcase something, because I love cars and I have to work towards that. So now I am selling that same vehicle for only like $35, and the vehicle has everything. Like, it has every single detail on it. It is also developed based on a scan, because working for that client, he also provided me a 3D scan of the 434 Legend. So it's basically a vehicle that's developed based on real data. Data that only can be provided in a studio otherwise, or you just get lucky to get a 3D scanned. I'm sure there are also sites on the internet where they're selling 3D scanned materials of vehicles and so on, but still, you have to invest a bit in it to get those kind of data, so you can create authentic vehicles, as what I think I'm doing right now. But again, I'm selling that vehicle for only like $35, and now if I start going back and think like, this is not enough, and so on and so on, still it doesn't take anything from the work I've done, because I enjoyed it at the time. I'm super proud to have it as part of my portfolio right now. It's what drove me other clients in my way. They saw that car and they wanted me to work on it, on other cars. Surely enough, because of it, I'm offered like 2 positions right now, which are quite serious, for lead and senior developers of vehicles. Also keeps bringing me other projects, like creating printable 3D bumpers for a team that's doing business with drifting in Japan, and projects like as such. So I mean, that would be now pretty much more on the side of whether one thing or another it's worthy of doing, but if you have a goal, like you want to achieve something and you work towards that, to try and get there, I'd say everything, all of that is really worth it. So, but yeah, but also it's very great, man, Blue Jay, that you made a game. Like that's a big thing, because the way I see it, it's not only 3D modeling there. You have a lot more things to do there. You have obviously development. You have, you would know these things better than I do. So it's the whole deal, right? So I mean, I'm very glad to hear that you guys make games, and not in a cliche way, but it really is, because I do have friends who are also trying to make games. They do, although they haven't yet published it, and their game, I suspect, will be quite great, because I know who is working on it. There are two people only, but one of the guys, one of them is great animator, and when he starts working on something, I like to believe I am like that I want it to be perfect. I want to go into the details and just take the time that something that's it's required in order to be done how it should be done, how I believe it should be done. Now, on that matter, I mean, you have all kinds of clients and projects that might not require that. And for example, you can take the best 3D artists in any category. For example, take Nimlots, right? He's working on a character how much? Like whole month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't know. But if someone comes and says, hey, you know what, we need this like in 5 days, as well, he would be able to do it. But of course, I mean, and probably far better than anyone else. My point is that he will have the pleasure of taking all these details and doing this slow work, but he will have to find shortcuts. So you do that, you try to more or less go around problems, but that's I think a different topic altogether. In any case, it's pretty interesting, how all that works. For example, tools, people argue about this or that, but it's really not important whether you're using this or that tool. As long as you can finish and deliver the job, that's what's most important, that you can do that. And as long as you can do that, you can use pretty much whatever you like. It's no big deal. So I'm not gonna actually bevel these, or will I? I don't know. I just made a statement almost like, and then just went against it. Anyway, I'm just thinking on how should I approach this really. Beveling it out, it will give me more details. but then again, it will be probably way too much geometry spent on it. Now, I've said this is going to be more or less for visualization, but I also want to be mindful of the geometry. I want it to be within reasonable amount of geometry that it can be used probably even for a game if anyone wants to. I mean, each of the assets I'm working on according to the standards I've been taught in the studio, and I'm always mindful of that to, you know, keep within those structures on how we used to work there. Except the only difference is back then we had to delete most of the things. Right now I don't delete them because I'm not working it specifically for a game, so I just have it in mind more or less how the geometry needs to look, how much detailed it needs to look, but not deleting what's not really necessary, but I'm adding that as well, you know. So by nature it's having more details. For example, in working for the game on which I've been working on, not for myself but for the studio, of course, much of this would be just like a block out, like simple shapes, 5 lines. That will be it. Like probably even not even made, because it's never gonna be visible in the game, so they wouldn't make it. But in here I want to have it because yeah, I like it. I love this work, so I think I don't need it to justify it that much. Yeah, I think I'll bevel it. Like, there are all these lines in here, like these, which can make this look very nice, you know. Okay, you see that? Here we have some incorrect polygon, and I have to be very mindful of those once I finish everything, because when I do that and then move to texturing, I need to make sure that all of them are working how they need to be working, really, so not to spend, you know, going too much back and forth. But anyway, even if we do, it's pretty normal. I mean, but I like it very much. It has that natural look of a metal, of a shaped metal, you know, on how it really needs to be, you know. So I very much like that. I'm very happy for it, and I have a very good vibe about this. That it's gonna be, I mean, definitely it's gonna be my best work so far. And hardly anything will surpass it afterwards, because I already have in mind on what I'll be working on next, which will be the McLaren MP44 of Ayrton Senna. And in there I do have plans on making the engine, making the cockpit and all that, but those details are already very much present out there. Many people have made them. I just want to make my own twist to it, right? So as such, the work is not gonna be as that unique and not unseen, you know. Much of it will be, you know, it's already done by now. There are many interpretations of that car, but that car is pretty famous, with this guy I have over here related to this guy I have right over my head. So you guys cannot see it, but if you actually go across my Twitch profile and you scroll down in about, you would see my working place here, and you would see the 2 images I have of the 2 drivers I idolized as a child. and I still do probably till this very day. I mean, it's one of the sports I really love, because actually for me it's not just a sport, it's more than that. It's, you know, people died and they still kept on doing it. One might, you know, wonder why. Well, the only answer I can come up with is that they were just too passionate about it, you know. So ain't about that what life is all about, you know, doing what you love and what you're passionate about, pursuing that regardless of whatever anyone says, you know. Do what you love and what makes you happy, that's it. It's simple as that. Certainly looks simple, but I meant to say certainly isn't simple, but it looks like it is. It should be. But actually those are the things that are less simple of simplest. If that makes sense what I said, I don't know, but I mean in English. I hope you understood. Okay, let's see if there is any imperfection here with the model. Little test. Okay, we have these parts. From all the geometry on this piece, this is where we have some issues. And let's see what those are. So, okay, that's... we have double vertex here. There it is. Now all fine. What's in here? Yep, there it is. What's next? This one here was, yep, there it is. Or not. Yep. Vertex in the middle of nowhere. We don't like that. We cannot have that. We should be really mindful of that and remove it altogether. This is pretty tight bevel, which I don't think we need. This one we do. It's what's holding the structure. This in here, it's probably too much. I'm gonna cut it. This just eased up a bit. This section here, guys, of these bevelings here that you can see, it's all things that I'm gonna cut, you know, across properly. So all of this will be welded, and I can straight away right now imagine how that would look. It would be very nice. Let's make sure this is a full circle. I did that because I knew it wasn't by the looks of it. And yep. Yeah, so actually what I'll do is just nope, not that way. How to approach this? Okay, we can isolate now this with this. Delete both. This is pretty much on the bottom, so okay, they're coming together here. Let's have it. Okay. And that's continuing somewhere. No idea where though. Like this. Too much unnecessary geometry on the bottom that we will remove. Like always cut everything that you have. That's not really necessary. No edges that go nowhere, like none of that is required. Cut all that. Now this is holding the form here, but yeah, it's because of that. Maybe we should hold on. What's this? Yeah, we don't need that. Come on. Certainly a big progress today. Yeah, need to be careful with this. Okay, let's just go one by one. Come on. Be nice. Okay, now. Into the center, like that. And now merge with this. Okay, there's an issue somewhere. Maybe different set of numbers on the outside. No. Okay, I think it's time to save. We've done quite a lot of things and I've forgotten about that. For how much time? Last time I saved 10 and 30. It's almost like hour and 20 minutes more or less. Then we have this work hanging in the air. If it crashes, I'm done. I guess I realized that I can't be motivated by external factors like money. No, you can't. I mean, I know I went on talking too broad about many like projects directly and all that, but just a moment, guys. Sorry. Sorry guys, just a moment. Yeah, so back on the comments, Blue Jay says it's mostly just code since I didn't use any 3D models. This is referred to the game you were talking earlier. We were talking earlier, I guess. So you say, I guess I realized that I can be motivated by external factors like money, or at least easily motivated. Have you made a three-wheeler? Three-wheeler, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Speaking of that, what you stated, that you cannot be motivated by money, certainly not. I mean, it's of course very, it should be very much secondary thing, but of course when it comes to the doing, you know, the business, you have to be paid what you should believe that you should be paid, you know. Otherwise it would turn into, how to say that, like, you won't like yourself, right? So you would despise the work and so on and so on. So yeah, but money alone, they should not really be the, you know, the sole motivation for the work anyway. This is something that I don't like here, so I'm gonna need to change it here. But still, this whole element in here, it's like off. So why I'm bothered this much by something that's gonna be on the, you know, look at that. where it will be. It's not gonna be even, you know, even when visualized from the side and all that, it's not gonna be seen that much, and it's not looking bad at all. I mean, it's not perfect circle, but that's fine. And at least one, no, I just made it to be proper circle this, so okay, I know what to do. It's gonna take some time, but again, they massacred my boy, one would say. Yep, that's that. So now it'll take some time, but if we are making it, we are making it, so it has to look right, right guys? Using as much as we are allowed here, so now this. Now I want to find the guy on Reddit that argued with me on how pipes are welded and give him this to weld it back. I mean, it's no big deal, but if you confine yourself to only welding the pipes like when they're in their perfect, you know, positioned, aligned and all that, and with the same amount of vertices or edges, that is, on the sides, yeah, you know, you just flip them, rotate them and do booleans, that's it. But when you have this shit, well, good luck. You have to navigate your own way and try to make sense of this, despite that your brain's telling you like this cannot be right, you know. But it is, because again, this is not a mechanical thing. It's not that it's gonna be produced in a factory, although much of it can be used really for someone to see or acknowledge how the engine is, because it is after all made based on a 3D scan. But the point is, it's not supposed to work in real life, you know. So, and what I need here actually is to create these points on every edge that it's there, so we can merge it easily without too much fuss. And you can use booleans, sure, but yep, again, go ahead and use booleans on this whole structure of geometry you have in here. You have to do it manually. I mean, you can surely use booleans and maybe isolate the whole piece and all that, go around. Sure, yes, it's doable. Like I've said several times, for anything that you want to do, there are pretty much like 3 ways of doing things. So, and pretty much each of them is right, as long as you can, you know, keep it straight and make it how it's really supposed to be without any issues later on. So that's the only thing that matters, nothing else. And what I love the most is those people saying, oh, well, you know, there is much faster way than this, or it can be done in this way, that way, and they show it on a video, right? And the truth is, they've tried it like not hundreds, I'm exaggerating now, but you get my point. You know, they certainly have tried it several times and they know it, you know, like the back hand of their, like the back of the hand, I wanted to say. Jesus. So yeah, sure, it looks easy, but it's one thing when you're doing it live, it's one thing when you're doing it for the 5th, 6th time filming it. Now, one might say I'm quite frustrated with these videos, and probably I am. It's because they're not true, right? So Lori, hi there, mate. I need you to weld a 32-edge pipe opening to a 12-edge pipe open. You can do it. I believe in you. Yes, I can. It's pretty easy. Not to brag or anything. It's just one or the other will be welded to literally half of that what you have, and depending what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, you can try and preserve the visuals of it, you know, on the silhouettes. And then certainly you would probably use a bit more geometry when it comes to it, but I mean, heck, why not? If what you need to do, depending the circumstances, is you know, okay, completely fine. When I started learning 3D, those things for me, like, well, you know, that cannot be right. No, this is not right. It cannot be, and so on and so on. But they are. It's like no big deal. That's pretty much when I realized, guys, that I've been overthinking modeling too much. And that's why for everything that I work on, I have a friend that's doing that, and we always argue about that. I'm very ease about things, like, okay, we can do that, it's no big deal, you can do it, and so on and so on. Yeah, you will take some time, you know, working on it, but it's surely doable. Why don't you do it? Blah blah blah. And they would overthink it, when in fact you really shouldn't, you know. None of this is gonna be out there in the world that it needs to be made to work, right? It's just visual representation, and you have to make it as believable as you can to sell that realism. That's all. Why do you think, guys, games like have these roll cages and whatnot? Are they serving any purpose? What, to save you in a game? It doesn't make sense. They're all just made to make you, you know, to make it believable that you're in a race car or this and that. It's all about context. Exactly. I'll pin that comment. I'll pin that comment right away. 20 minutes? No. For the remainder of the stream, which is 60 more minutes, and I'll be finished. So, yep. By the way, Lori, welcome on the stream, and hope you're having a great Tuesday. 3D sucks, I quit. I'm going to take up napkin folding. That's interesting. Coming from a guy who works in Bridgestone. Dude, I mean, to me, you're like, I want to work in place like that. Maybe it's naive of me to say that, not knowingly what you exactly do in that company, you know, but Bridgestone, after all, it's like very highly motorsport related. You're working on, probably it can get boring because you're working all the time on the same things. I get that, but still, I mean, you know, I am living in Macedonia. Companies like that are very distant worlds for someone like me. So you would understand why I say what I say. I'll just try to bring these pipes now here with this. Oh my god, I almost clicked G which is repeating the last command you gave to the software, which is merge it, and all that in the back would have been gone. I would have need to go back, which is uncertainty always, because the software might crash, and yeah, you go and deal with it after again all this. So, Jesus, I'm talking too much. I won't anymore. But ain't that what streaming is all about? Like, streaming, the art of talking to yourself. Not necessarily to yourself always. There are people most of the time, but you know, I'm not like paying attention whether there is someone or anyone. I'm just on it. And just like one guy yesterday mentioned it, it looks like these guys are psychopaths. Which is what probably pushed me away from streaming. For, you know, before I even begun, I was having these stereotypes about it, like why would you do it and so on and so on. But why not? Why not? I got to meet a lot of people like that. It cannot be bad. What on earth is going on here? I mean, I've tried twice now to fix it and still something is pinching that. Finally, Jesus. Now this was the problem. Now it's working. Now let's give a structure to this and bevel it all together with this actually. But yeah, first let's finish it. Now what to do with this? What to do with you, dude? Maybe, just maybe, we can do this. And finish it here. So this structure there. Jesus, how I'm complicating things for myself. I mean, and now let's make it like it makes some sense, right? So okay, like that, and this, some artistic touch, although it maybe makes no sense whatsoever. This is like a grip to hold it, let's say, and we'll just close it right there, like this, with that. I heard a message, but sorry guys, I just have to finish this, so I'm trying to stay focused a bit on it. I'll read it in a second. But like I've said, I welcome chat, and I'm pretty much hearing all the messages when they come. It's just sometimes I might miss one or two and not read it. And again, I don't have much, so it's not a big deal. It's not that tricky. This, I need to follow this line. Yashar Nohi, welcome on the stream, dude, and thank you for the subscribe. Where are you from? Feel free to introduce yourselves. Maybe I should have that on streams. Like, introduce yourselves. Where are you from? Who are you? What are you doing for a living? ID cards. Like Discord demanding right now. Jesus, if they do that, I'm off. Like, why on earth? At first I thought it is for some safety or this and that, and then friend of mine tells me, you know what, Discord is sold and so on. It's bought by another company. They demand now IDs, whatnot. I'm like, what? Wait a sec. I thought it's all about, you know, kids below 18 and all that, but no. Hardest part of my job is getting models ready for simulation. Everything has to be plus or minus. Yeah, well, that's tricky thing. Not this, guys. What Lori does, it's something that it's translated in real life. It has consequence, right? So I'm sure it goes through some rigorous treatments, and whether that what you do is how it should be done and so on. But still, maybe not as much as I make it, but again, still you have some, you know, how to say, responsibility for that, and that cannot be just, you know, it cannot be not stressful when you think that some things really depend on you. This, not really, for example. This is just an interpretation of what I want to do, and that's all it is. Of course, I'm trying to make it, you know, as believable as possible. I've said that like several times now, and I don't want to be boring, but so that's it. Anyway, Blue Jay, I did read that unemployed for living. I am not sure if I understood that. You're unemployed for living. Like, what you do in life, it's to be only unemployed? I don't get that. Sorry. Just a sec, guys. Phone. Be right back, guys. We are back. Hello. Yep, I can be heard. Okay, there I am. I'm old and obsolete. Jesus, man. I mean, you are always saying that, and really, I mean, I don't get when people say that and be are the are detrimental for themselves. I don't get it. I'm sure you're not, and I'm sure you're not obsolete. Uh, Obsolete would be someone who is completely useful, and you certainly aren't. Uh, so there it is. I've said it. Jesus, there is work to be done. It's about time. Welcome back. I'm very glad to have you guys. Really, I know it's cliche of a of a saying, but it's the company that helps sometimes to get through these models. Blue Jay asked whether he's wrong to be feel motivated only by monetizing things, charging basically the money, which is in a way, and it's also wrong if I go philosophical about it, that I'm more motivated to do this when I have also people around, like, or that I can talk with someone about this or stream whatever it is, because it shouldn't be about that, as it is more, as it should be more for the work itself, that one should do this regardless of whether streaming or people there or not. But it's just easier. It's all I'm saying. It's good to have you guys. So now, does this makes any sense here? I'm not so sure, so I'll just close this off here as it is. I'll go about that like that. These guys don't mind me, but I'll just try and quickly close it. So I'll do it in such a way that's gonna be brutal, more or less, like just a moment, guys. Phone again. I cannot get a break. there's nothing wrong making a living from which you love to do. That's the first message that caught my eye, and exactly, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I never implied there is wrong, but the notion was of should be the money the main motivator because behind all the work, which is something I truly believe it shouldn't be. But it's very, tightly related with at least how it is for me on whether you're appreciated or not for what you're doing and where you're doing that, whether they appreciate it or not. So for me, it's more like that, and so that is, yeah, I've said it. If you're providing a service, you should get paid. There's nothing wrong with that. Just because we are called freelancers doesn't mean we do things for free. Absolutely. And I always say that it's always more telling for the people who are asking for things to be done for free than it is if you do the work for free and you don't do it well, that it says about you, about artists. It's not, because sometimes, at least one time, I certainly did it. I loved the job just too much probably, and I made a mistake of doing something for free. And because it was for free, specifically now talking to you, Blue Jay, because it's kind of related with the money. It was free. It wasn't paid. I knew that I'm not getting anything out of it, and I just didn't have the motivation to do it because of the approach of this guy. He knew that I can do the job, but he just wanted to get things for free. And of course, I didn't do the job like it was supposed to, because I didn't give a blip, right? And I wasn't hired and all that. But at the end of the day, I'd rather not to. I'd rather not to be not. I wouldn't like to be hired by someone like that, because that wouldn't be the right environment where you would like to work. It's more about enjoyment for me. Doing something solely for money isn't enjoyable, so the motivation isn't there. It's like a disliked job. I guess I stopped developing the game I've been working on because I stopped enjoying development. That's sad. Have to look past the momentary feeling and focus on the outcome. I'm not saying money should be your only motivation, but it has to be a priority at some point. I do what I do because I love it. Exactly. And I do what I'm doing right now because this is my priority as well. Otherwise, guys, I would have been streaming sim racing or something like that. But I just don't have the time I would like to have in order to do it competitively. So, to enjoy it. And because I really don't, I just stopped doing it, and I focus on what really matters for me, which is doing 3D, because that's what I'm doing for a living. And yeah, and also I love it as well. So yep, that makes sense. Yeah. Myself, guys, I've been working in my father's company for like 8 years, but and it's more about export, import, e-commerce, commerce and stuff like that. Not e-commerce necessarily, like far from it, but you deal with people a lot of time, and a lot of time I would be screwed over, People won't be on time to finish the job, and so on and so on. And I hate very much when that happens, because I know how I behave myself, that when I say something that I'll do it no matter what. Like, I cannot stand that I said something to someone and I won't hold true to that word. I feel bad for myself, really. And when you say to someone that you do something and you don't, and there are lots of people like that, it pissed me off so much. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna work in this environment, here with what I did in the past. I had to work on something that relied 100% on me. And yeah, that could be anything. You could be opening a company and doing something else, and so on and so on. But still, you have to have that interaction with other people, so to make your business, to work, basically. Because the nature of that work that I did was related to many other sections, like borders, customs, this and that, and then someone would ask for this and that, and it was just not something that I would like to. I did not saw myself in that field. Anyway, so I always loved drawing, like I've said several times on the stream, I guess, so far. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn 3D, and that's what I'll be doing for a living, because I just love it. I have to learn it. I had this innate passion that I said, like, I must learn that. And sure enough, I did. One thing led to another. Here we are. I mean, I won't go now over the whole story of how that went, but it's easier, I don't know, to see it like that when you have to do something. It's not that I'm pushed to do it. I really want to learn it, and there's no other way of saying it. Hi, Luan. Welcome, mate. Welcome, mate. Look at that, guys. What do you think now? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it lovely? Look at that. The details. Oh my. I bet there is no other Porsche 962C on the internet 3D model that is like this. Woohoo! I love it. Look at that. The details it has. The shapes. This we will add on top. It will have details there. Then this piece here. This what we've made in the morning. It's all coming along. Lambert, where's the blend? Yep, there's the blend. What did I do there? Yep. Now much better. Let's amplify the shadows. It's looking beautiful. When a person like Laurie says that something looks great, a person who is working for Bridgestone and it's working on engineering stuff, then it must be really good, and I'll take that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Laurie. Luan, how are you, mate? What's going on? Are you working on something lately? I know you did that with the plane, and you did the Armory trailer, which was great, by the way. Oh, I've missed a message from Lori. Sorry for that. Emo, this is the reason why people end up with regrets, because they find easy reasons to not do something. Me, I rather find reasons not to have regrets. That's well put, man. That's another message I would have pinned, but I think that the other one that you said previously is probably more important. Like, context is everything, always. Thanks, Luan. But yeah, I always try to find reasons to, to not to have regret, or just push more. I mean, each of us have pretty much different, I guess, motivation for things, which is completely fine. And as long as you have that, I mean, all is good. And this, by the way, guys, I'll just flatten it like this because I believe this should be a support piece for this structure here. So I'll just do that. And then I'll make this. Then G again. And close it off. But before that, let's fix something here. Maybe I should have done it sooner, actually. I'll be posting work in progress later. Looking forward to see it. I'm still working on the Gripen. What's Gripen? Almost finishing the HP high poly. You're working, I guess, on some game asset like low poly, high poly and stuff. That's awesome. Well done. Since I was more motivated when I was doing it for free, I've just been wondering why I lost motivation. Although I'm reading some messages upside down, you know, in reverse way, I still understand what you're saying. Yeah. Just a moment, guys. An HR wrote me about some position here. Yeah. They've offered me a position for senior vehicle development, but unfortunately they decided to keep it still in team and develop it, you know, within the team. So nothing of that will happen. None of that will happen. I guess it's the right way to say it in English. I'm always consciously trying to be mindful of the words I'm using and how that would be said in English, because I know that much of it, not much of it, but some of it, I might say it wrong and it might sound, you know, hilariously stupid, but yeah. Oh, look at this. It's not placed where it should be properly because they're not centered yet. Maybe, yeah, I'll do that afterwards. Heck, while I'm at it, I'm just gonna do them right now. Why not? Like, I mean, that's the bottom of it. And this needs to be surely well there. That's the bottom. Now from here let's pull out one edge. Let's close that. Come on, I hate so much when the right click it's misclicked and it doesn't grab or select what I need to be selected. Let's have that like that. In here there will be another structure which is already present. Now this and that. There you go. And this in here also. So let's go about that like this. Merge that. Oops, what I did. Yep, I've added previously add vertex when I didn't land on it. Okay, we have a missing piece over there. Yeah, let's do this instead. It happens just to have it happens just to just have to get past it. for what Blue Jay said previously. Says Lori, true success isn't defined by your accomplishments, but by your failures you overcome. It isn't possible to have success without failures because you wouldn't know you succeeded. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's the point. If I mean, I cannot get to, you know, I cannot get to motivate someone who doesn't want to be motivated. But I try because I know people who want to work with this, but they're just not able to in the moment, and they say they like it, they love it, and they always overthink on things, and probably if they're watching they might you know, recognize themselves in what I'm going to say, is that they're always trying to I mean, they have their reasons, and they're valid reasons very much. I'm not in their skin to know, but and probably as such I shouldn't even talk about it. But the thing is, I'll say it only for myself, how I behave, right? So because that's after all the only thing I can speak of. So I'll say it in that way. And speaking of that way is, if I bother too much on whether if I'll fail or not, I'd just rather not do it altogether. But I do it regardless of anything. I do it regardless of whether it's doable or not doable. Because the only way for me to learn whether it's doable or not is by doing it. And there's no other way, really. So I mean, I love that we are talking on very meaningful things like these. These are deep things, I would say, you know, on what motivates you and how you go about work and whether you should push or not. And if you found my channel to be suitable for such conversation, I'm very much flattered, guys. So keep it going. I mean, I don't know, like, what's there to be worried for, right? Certainly, as freelancer, you're trying to get projects every single day, and I'm rejected like, I don't know how to say it, much more than I'm hired, right? It's like what Michael Jordan said, you know. He says, yeah, you know me that I'm successful, and yeah, I'm freaking Michael Jordan, right? But do you know how many shots I've missed only to, you know, succeed at these and that? Like, way too many. And, you know, people only remember those that he made. Well, it's pretty much the same with freelancing, certainly for my story, if I'm sharing it right now, is that I'm sending like 15 proposals within like 4 or 5 days, and I'm only hired probably on one. Well, go do the math about that. That's around thousands of proposals and being hired to around only 30 jobs. Everything else, lost, a failure, failure. You're not good enough, and so on and so on. Should I quit? No, heck no. And I never will. I'm just not that kind of person. I mean, it's not the point whether quitting or not, because there's nothing to quit. I haven't invested in this like that much, right? I'm investing time, but I have that time. So, or at least I had it in the start, right? Someone doesn't have that luxury. And it's pretty much also important that you catch that when you catch that in the right circumstances, right? When the environment so-called it's right. Of course, it's entirely different when you like to learn 3D and do 3D and try to do all this when you have family. You know, you have much more obligations. You cannot really just sit 8 hours a day and do this. So by that point, probably it's too late. So if you want to learn to do this, probably you should start much earlier, and you should be mindful of that. So, I mean, the way I saw it, guys, it's, I've said, I've been working in my father's company, and I pretty much surely knew early, I knew that I won't be working there, you know? And I knew that unless I make something of myself and do something with what I'm passionate about, I'm pretty much out on the street. And what I'm passionate about is 3D. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do at all costs. And it's simple as that. I mean, at least for me, it's that simple. I don't see it any other way, and I cannot see it any other way. I don't know anyone who's successful that started doing what they're doing just like because, oh well, you know what, I was bored and I decided I'm gonna do this. No, they were, you know, on it from probably day one. From day one, when that thought came on their mind and they realized, okay, this is probably what I should do, that they pursued that all the time. So and with having said all that I've said so far, it's also why I am trying to improve my portfolio, because what I have is just not enough, and you have to improve as an artist daily. You know, you have to work on your craft, otherwise you're just left behind. Whoever thinks, you know, they're on top of the game, they are for a certain time, and they'll be off after some time. So whoever is out there listening, if you believe that, you know, like you're the best or this and that, you're already lost. Heavy words. Going back on the subject of what I'm doing is, I'd like mentioning it again that Kramer Racing, the team itself by which this vehicle is based, have actually written me, guys, gave me compliments of doing great work. And when I'll finish this, I'll ask them to, if they want to reshare them, to reshare it on their page. And if that happens, for me it's gonna be a game changer, because when that happens, it's gonna be placed on a page that has roughly, you know, thousands of followers, avid followers, because racing is such that people are passionate about what they're doing. That's the thing that I love about racing. And when people are passionate, they're going extra miles for what they like. And, you know, I know that it will be appreciated. Also, I have contacted few people with whom I've been working on the Genesis Magma for the cinematics of the Le Mans racing team, Genesis, the racing team, and they surely loved it as well. And they like to offer me, not any offer like, you know, formally speaking, officially speaking, nothing official. It has to be said, but like creatively wise, you know. Collaboration on what I'm doing right now to elevate this piece on a higher level, you know, to make it a full cinematic with the car being driven around the track and all these details, I mean cinematics that you've been seeing about cars, well, something like that. But still, I don't think I'm at that point where I should just jump ship and do that, because this car is pretty much unfinished. There's still a lot to go. I have to finish this engine. I have to make delivery First of all, I have to make the UV map. Then, of course, the livery. So there is still a lot of work to be done. I don't want to even think about AI helping me. I want to be solely done by myself. And once all of that is done, which I assume it will take me roughly around 2 months, only then I'll be moving forward with trying to maybe do some visualizations. I'm already speaking with, like I've said, some people that are willing to help me on that journey. But most than anything, it's not just, you know, a cliche way of saying. I haven't even thought about making this monetize, you know, to monetize the piece or anything. I just want it to be out there, people to admire it, and just, you know, to see that reaction on people's faces. Like, this is a great job. That's enough for me for now, and everything else will come later on. So I'm not worrying about that at all. Hi there, mate. Hi there. How was the racing yesterday? Did you won any race afterwards, after I left? And will you be racing tonight? It went well. I did not win any. Maybe, you know what? After this, oh my god, it's 12:50. Jesus, when did time pass by? I mean, I said I'm gonna finish at 1 o'clock. Sorry guys, 1 o'clock. I had something else to do at 11 o'clock. That's why I'm mistaking myself here. Anyway, so I said I'll be streaming until only 1 o'clock, and it's already 1 o'clock, and I want to keep going, but I cannot. I have other things to do. I have clients that await me. I must do the other job as well, which is why I have to keep things disciplined, where I have specific time for streaming and the rest of the time will be for actual work, which is right after I finish. I go on straight on another 3D modeling project until late in the night. In between, I'll have some practicing and so on to run a bit, to stay in shape, you know. But if you're racing tonight, you know, I'll surely come by once again. The fact that I'm not doing any sim racing lately, it's, you know, even a bigger reason to watch it, because I really miss it. And speaking of it, for everyone who is right now on YouTube watching, on Kick and on Twitch, would you be guys interested in seeing me doing sim racing, like live streaming sim racing? Would you be interested in watching something like that? And would you mind it? I mean, because I want to keep this channel strictly about 3D modeling, but if you guys are keen on seeing such stuff, I mean, why not? And by the way, wait a sec, what's happening here? Yep. Okay, there's some issue there. But okay, guys, I mean, today we finished quite a lot of job. I mean, it's just a it's just a huge piece of geometry here that that's troubling the software. That's all. But I think it's also time to save this. I don't want to risk losing it, you know, if anything stops working. It's gonna be disastrous. No, no! No, 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 no. Okay. I will probably race one race tonight. Is that some kind of building BG? I think you misspelled that. You meant building. No, this is made the main engine block of the car at the back. So is that some kind of building? Yeah. So I read well. It's the I see your reaction. Yeah, it's the engine block, the main engine block on the bottom of the car at the back, which is holding and powering this beautiful Porsche 962C. That I mean, I have a YouTube video on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. It's the latest video I've posted. It's just a short cinematic, and in very short as I could, actually explaining on, or rather giving a bit more context on what I'm doing, so for people to have, you know, more understanding of what I'm doing and why I'm doing this. It's not just that it's not just any random, you know, stuff like I decided to make a car and that's it. If that was the case, I would have been working on something a bit more creative, you know, like a submarine or some spaceship, I don't know, but I love cars. I had the luck of working on several car-wise projects the last year and the year before, so I gathered like quite a lot of models on which I've worked in the past couple of 2 years, and I just decided I have to bring these pieces in a lot more details for my own portfolio and rework them. I did one, which is the Ford 34 Legend that you see on my portfolio. The other one is the Ferrari Evo that I did for Igor Stefanovsky, the triple European champion in hill climb racing. I have 2 other cars which I cannot really do at this time, no afterwards, because after this one, like I've said several times also, I have to finish the McLaren MP44 because that's the first 3D model I actually started doing when I first got in touch with 3D. So it's like a model I must do, you know. So that's another one, and after that, that's something with which I believe I'll stop, because I want to, you know, focus a bit more on animation and cinematics. So I don't see myself beyond that point developing vehicles of this level. I would rather just do concepts and things like that. So will you crash a lot? If so, I'm there. Thank you, mate. That means a lot to have the support. No, today, I mean, it's been very fruitful day. A lot has been achieved, for sure. I'm not just saying it like that. So, yeah, where was I? Yeah, let's save this. And really, guys, I'll have to finish right on the minute, straight on 1 o'clock, if not earlier. So that will be like, you know, that will be all for today. George, thank you for the follow. I did catch your surname. I think you have some roots from Macedonia, I believe. Or, oh, wait a sec. If I can see it here. No, it doesn't show you your name here. The last subscription I see on YouTube is Yashar Nohi. I think he subscribed. Yeah, I've seen it. And that's on YouTube. I'm having it, you know, the alerts to show both on YouTube here and there. So, but I cannot see it on YouTube, his surname. But I believe he was a countryman. Anyway. Anyway, guys, we've finished a big portion of this piece here. I mean, that's gonna be the largest one, because after that it's gonna be, you know, bits and pieces here and there. Like, here's the 3D scan once again before I sign out, basically. So let's hide everything else and leave out only the scan. Here's the scan. So what we have today, it's this portion more or less finished. More or less, it's not finished yet. There's still work to do, details to be done. I cannot see anything on, you know, how it is below. I have no idea whatsoever. So I'm just trying to creatively wind that up and wrap it up, but that's all I can do. Speaking of the details on this base big metal block here, I have the majority of it, and tomorrow, I guess, once I complete that, tomorrow I'll continue with this piece here and the other side as well here to make sense of it, and I'll finish this pipe that's connecting the metal structure there, and we'll have this whole like cross that's here, and that will be definitely beautiful to see once finished. And once that is done, guys, there's these bits and pieces here, you see them, this radiator on top, whatever that is, I have no clue. That like metal net, what that is, like some metal structure, and look how bent it is. It has a certain shape. It's unique. I mean, it's gonna look beautiful. These details on the side. How do you know the structure of the car and how you need to build it? You have blueprints. Not, I mean, I have the 3D scan, and honestly, I cannot ask more than that. 3D scan, it's something very unique in sense of, in context of this car. I'm not sure. I mean, it can be provided only by the person who owns this car, and to own this car, you're pretty much working in a racing team, and you cannot share informations, or you own this car and you can share it. And I just happened to work on for a client who owned this car. He paid $3 million to have this car, and he had the 3D scan. So he shared with me the 3D scan, but I couldn't share the work I did. I have NDA signed with him. So that's why I'm redoing this, because I want this car to be as part of my portfolio. So that's why I'm rebuilding it. So I am also having a lot of references of the car, not necessarily shown here, but much of the details regarding this car are here that I would need to have in order to make it. Now, when making something like this, the way I approach it is I'm trying to make it as believable and realistic as I can, to the point where I can do that. That means that on the parts that I cannot see below, that's just not really that important for me, because no one else would be able to have those parts made how they should be made, for the simple reason that you can, if not impossible, find them. So, you know, what matters to me is just pretty much when you look at the car from the top, like I'm watching this photo here, is that it looks how it should look here. But what's on the bottom, I'll just try to improvise a bit and only try to have the flow of the geometry that it's also on the top. I'll say only this, and I'll sign out. It's already 1 and 3 minutes, and I really have to go. So for this element here, what I've made previously was only this part here, this part like that. What I did not have was this here. I couldn't make sense of how this would have been connected. There is no 3D scan data on that. You will see here. There is nothing to show there, not much at least. So once I made, where is it? They're calling me on the phone. I really have to go, guys. So once I made this on the left side and brought it up, all made sense. And I just reconnected it, and now look at it. It's perfect. It's how it should be. It's in all its details, right? So, yep. Okay, guys, I really have to go. Thank you everyone for stopping by. But yeah, see ya tomorrow. Same time, 9 a.m. till 1 o'clock, I'll be working on it. I'm extending 1 hour just to have more, to speed it up with all the work on the Porsche, and that's it. Have a great day, Lori. I'll be catching you up on the other streams. I'm sure Oleg will come soon, so yeah, I'll catch up with you